officially live. Welcome, Heather, and welcome, RuthAnn.
Thank you. I'm
so
happy to be
here.
Yeah.
And you know what's really funny, Heather? I met maybe it was you that I met first. I'm not sure. But I met, was it through like HOA? Where we shared links or something? And that's how I came across you and you came across me.
Yes. We were posting on their share post that you have.
Yeah. Was it Homesteaders of America?
I think it was Homesteaders of America.
Okay. I don't know if you can see any comments, but hey, Rudy, welcome in. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, there we go.
Are you streaming it to your channel or no?
No, we don't.
No, I didn't know how to do that yet.
So if you go look at the top right-hand corner, and it should ask you stream to your channel, and if you click on that,
to your audience.
Yeah, exactly. If you click on that, over on your YouTube channel, and people,
Okay.
Yay!
It's asking me to create an account, so I'll fix that later.
Yeah. So the next time we do that. So we got some friends coming in. Jennifer, Ocean Homestead, welcome in.
Yes, hello.
Yep. And who else do we have here? Thank you, Jennifer. And then LP, hello, welcome in. Okay, go. Oh, thank you for being here.
Yes, very much.
Thank you. We're going to wait for a couple of friends to come in too, okay? So I want to get a few more people before we start talking. So Jennifer, we were just talking how we met, and we basically of America, I think on their Friday share days or something. Okay, LP.
Yes,
thank you. I think that's where we met, where we started following. Like she posted her link over on there. Us have a YouTube channel. How much do you use that?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Do you post videos? That's okay. Do you post videos on your YouTube channel?
Yes, yeah. So I try to at least get one out a month. I've been a little irregular with the posting schedule lately, but I shoot for one a month at least.
We were going for one a week, but with the work, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Just with the work of the homestead and everything going on, it's so difficult to get a video out one a week. So we have been working on our shorts, the short videos.
So I try to get at least one or two, maybe 3 shorts a week out, and then I do one video a month if I can.
That's awesome. Hey, Jennifer, would you be able to go find our Quilted Homesteads link and post it in the comment section for me by chance, if you're able to? I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so I had I don't know if you heard me talk the other day. So I do events for authors up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who write Amish fiction books. I don't know if you had known that.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw you do that.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Troy Sutton, welcome in. We have some new guests today.
Hello, Troy.
You want to wave, Heather?
Yeah.
We have Heather, and she's here with her mom, RuthAnn. I have to stop and think because I want to call you Ann.
That's okay.
So they're from Alabama, and we're going to be talking a couple of things I really want her to share with everybody here. But I hadn't gotten a video up. I did a live from our big luncheon that day up at my event, and I realized my Amish friends, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that until after I was recording, and I'm like, well, once I realized it, we moved the camera out of the way, because
it's around so much.
They're the sweetest.
They don't mind.
Yeah.
Most of them don't mind.
These sisters do. These sisters do. Oh my, yes. Because one of them was, she was getting her dessert, and I said, her name's Anna. I'm like, Anna, wait, my camera's on. And she was like, she jumped back.
Oh no.
Want you to be aware that it's here. So yeah, they're the sweetest sisters. They're so cute.
Aww.
Thank you,
they are.
Jennifer. Friends, if you have not connected with our Quilted Homestead, please go become friends. Go maybe watch some of their shorts and some of their videos up there and help them out.
Yeah, thank you for
Karen,
sharing that.
welcome in. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're here to support. It's in YouTube land. We are here to help support each other and build each other up. That
right.
to me is really important. You know,
It's the way it should
So,
be. Yes.
Mhm.
yeah. So, hey, Templing Acre.
Hello.
I know, right? There you go.
Yep. Yep. This is kind of like the intermediate storage area. So the fresh stuff we can goes here until we get it packed away, and then we have a bigger pantry downstairs.
Do you? I bet that
Oh,
is
I
amazing.
see it now. Okay.
Yeah, people are
Commenting
about the
Okay.
canning jars.
Okay, I'm learning.
Yeah, this is our first live stream.
Yeah,
so we're
absolutely.
figuring it out.
Yeah, guys, this is our first time doing a live stream, and I'm honored that they chose to be with me on their first live stream. We're gonna have fun.
Oh, I
Hey,
always talk
Dee's
about
Garden.
you too,
Yes.
Heather.
We watch your videos together.
Yes. I love the way you're so
Oh, thank you
relaxed
so
and
much.
you just
I
love everybody in.
you know what? It took me a while to find. I felt like I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't comfortable when I was filming.
Yeah.
For gardening, but I'm really more relaxed in my kitchen. Like I've always enjoyed cooking and baking for people. I think that's just who I am. My grandmother was the same way, and she was one of my biggest influences up until she passed. So yeah.
Heather, we may have to
that's
stop
nice.
the comments
It's
so
so
that she streams better.
I don't think that that's on. I think
that's
Do you think it's just our internet?
it might just be our internet.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I was just
I don't
thinking if
think
you slow this
that-
down.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
pause the comment and then see if that works a little
Let's
bit.
see. I don't think that will change.
Okay, well, we'll
Yeah.
try it for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I saw your apple crisp this morning and your crock pot. Did you do that this morning?
I did. Well, last night.
Okay. Yeah.
Last night. But I did have some, it was probably close to afternoon because I hadn't eaten. I'd been baking, and I'm like, oh, let me get some apple crisp and have some. It
That
needed
looked
some
really
vanilla ice cream. Thank you. For the collaboration.
I'm going to try that.
And it is, you should. Actually, during my event, we went to an Amish farm and had a lunch, a dinner, where we had roasted chicken and the buttered noodles, the full-on thing that they made. And their cookbook, their family cookbook. I put the ingredients, but I didn't write the recipe, so I can always send it to you, a screenshot of it. Not a problem.
Oh, thank you.
You got
I
some more
love
friends
that.
in. Yeah, I will do that. Tell us treasures.
Hello,
And,
tell us treasures.
That's my sister. Yeah. She started a candle business with the inspiration of losing her dog, Tella, last year at Christmas time. Her dog passed away, and she started a business. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but good for her.
Right? And she's doing okay. Like she does really good a job with them. Hey, Dee's Garden Adventure, welcome in. I'm gonna don't let me forget, I have bread in the oven.
Oh no.
So
Don't forget
it's for tomorrow. The other one isn't quite ready to go in. It's still rising. You know, when you push it in,
Mhm.
it kind of isn't coming back out, the spring method. So I'm waiting
Yes.
for that. Let me go check it and I'll be right back. You keep talking to
Okay.
everybody if you can see them.
Okay. God love you. Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm so happy that all of you have joined us. This is a new experience for both of us.
Yeah.
So we're learning a lot. And I've actually never used this app before. Have you?
No, so this is all completely new. We had to go find a webcam, get it set up, and figure out how to do everything.
Yep. So our first time with the lights and the webcam and being in this room at the desk.
Yeah.
So, and yes, this is the room where the kitchen's that way. And I do all my canning in there, and then I bring the jars in here and pile them up on the bookshelves, and then I put them in boxes. I go down to the bakery, the Mennonite bakery, and when they unpack their canned goods, they put the empty boxes out back. So I pick up the empty boxes, bring them home, and then I refill them, tape them up, and put them in my basement. So it's kind of a cycle in the house, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have Karen.
Yep. I'm reading the comments as they come in.
Uh-huh. Dee's Garden Adventures.
Temple and Acres says, my mom started giving me her canning jars. I never turned them down. It's always great to find good canning jars. Yeah, we're always on the lookout.
Collecting them. Azure Standard has some really good ones. If we can get those, sometimes we do.
Karen says the colors of the jars are beautiful in the light. Thank you. I think they look pretty too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Sorry about that. It was a good thing that I went and pulled that bread out of the oven.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well,
Did
we're
it
gonna
turn out?
we're gonna get to the questions in just a second. So hang tight, okay? Hey, Mountain Grandma, thanks for being here. She's listening while she works.
Hello.
So
I remember Mountain Grandma on one of your other live streams you did.
probably. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's a really great supporter and friend too. We support each other. That's the key is getting, I mean, I don't know how you want to grow your YouTube channel, if that's something that you want to do. But it's important to get connected to like that community. And like to me, you're my community.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, we're glad to be
I
here
will
in the community.
Yeah, me too. So I mean, I see a lot of it on Facebook, and I tagged you today on Instagram.
Oh, did you now?
Okay.
Okay.
I did. I did that. I was going live with you, and she's on here. I know she's on here. So now that Facebook and Instagram is all one. So I think, Tella Treasures, are you still there? There's something I have to tell somebody really quick on here for reasons. So I have the moderators, if you can see like a little wrench next to their name, they help me make sure that everybody is being nice and cooperative. We've had people come in here really and saying just really horrible, bad things during lives.
Oh, wow.
You'd be surprised.
So Jennifer is one of the moderators.
Okay. And so is Tella Treasure. So
Tella's Treasure.
And it's important if you ever do a live on your channel to make somebody a moderator. It's really easy to do. Somebody that you trust. Those are the ones that will go get links for you, and they will ban people who aren't being appropriate on the internet.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Yes, we have a lot to learn.
Yeah, and if you need a lot here, you have my number. So if you ever need anything, you just reach out to me, and if I know, I will definitely help you.
Thank you.
You're my pleasure. That's what community does, right?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Tella, I just text you, so I need you to check your. Okay, so here's a really great tip for you too, especially since Heather, you do a lot of the YouTube stuff.
Mhm.
So if you ever do live, she says, click subscriber only, vertical lives trolls flood in.
Okay.
So
So that makes it for your subscribers only? Or
yeah, you have to be subscribed to the channel to see what's going on. Well, Templin Acres, you should do a live. It does help your channel out. It helps your channel with watch hours. So if you're working on getting monetized, that is a really great thing, to do.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I need 500 more hours, maybe a little less than that before the holidays. We'll see if I get there. I had once lost all my hours. I had lost at the beginning of the year because I didn't year, so all your watch hours get taken away when you don't hit it. I was at about 2,000 and they took all of them away but 200 and something. So I had to start all over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Adrian, welcome in. Thanks for being here. I just watched put up your greenhouse. I like that. Good job on that. So, all right, let's get down to this. So if you don't know, Heather is her daughter and her mom is RuthAnn, and they live in Alabama. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your farm and what types of animals.
Yeah. So right now we have 14 goats and we have chickens. I have 2 flocks of chickens. I have some white American breasts that are for meat and eggs. And I have a second flock that is for rainbow eggs, and they're all sorts of different mixed breeds. And then we have ducks, and I have silver appleyard ducks and Pekin ducks. And then we have Madison, who is our Jersey Dexter cross cow. They call it a Belfair, and she is absolutely our princess, and we love her.
Yes.
Awesome. Now let me ask you this question because you have a lot of animals. How many milk cows do you have? Are they milk cows or are they beef cattle?
Yeah, so right now we just have Madison, and Madison is not in milk yet, but we are milking 3 goats.
Oh, and do you do the milking, Heather, or does mom help you with that?
So we take turns. Mostly Rachel, my sister, does the milking.
Okay.
All of this can milk though. So we, like when they go on vacation and things like that, and I stay home to take care of the homestead, I'll do all the milking, and then we kind of switch around.
Yeah,
don't
we take up for each other.
Well, you have to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what kind of goats do you have? So I have 2 wethers and they're supposed to be Nigerian dwarfs, but let me tell you, Peter is not, he is Mr. Tubba Wubba. That's what I'm like. And he's so mean to his brother. His brother, his name is Ezekiel. And Peter and Ezekiel, you might know those names from the Bible, but
ours have Bible names too.
And he just headbutts him all the time. He won't let Zeke eat at all. It just makes me so mad.
Yeah. Yep. They knock each other around for sure. That's how they talk with their heads.
Exactly, right.
We have Nigerian dwarf goats.
You do?
Yes, we have Nigerian dwarf goats. We have 3 does in milk, and then I have 4 junior does that are under a year old. And then I have my buck, Nehemiah. So the does are Scarlet, Rahab, Ruth, and Naomi. And then the buck is Nehemiah.
All Bible names.
Ruth and Naomi. I love that.
Yeah.
And Nehemiah.
And then the junior does are Hadassah, and then we have Delilah, and then we have Rachel and Leah.
Wow, nice. So do you consume goat's milk, or do you sell it, or do you have a farm store on your farm, or are you working on that?
You want me to
Your
take
turn.
that one? Okay. So that is our goal. We want to have a farm store, but the laws here in Alabama are very sketchy, and people are very shy
Yeah.
of the topic. So in Ohio, where I'm from, I was born in East Clarendon, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and I was raised in my early years there. So I remember the Amish and the Mennonite, and we lived in a farming community. So I have
Right.
always lived on a homestead, and up there, the farm booths are on every corner. Like you drive down the road,
Mhm.
you see a farm, and then you see
Right.
another farm, and at the end of each driveway, normally you will
There's a
see,
produce stand.
yeah,
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
farm booth. So
Right.
It's not that way so much down here.
no, people don't know what they are, and they get real shy
But we
about
have a produce
approaching.
stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we just
good.
had one built. Yeah, we just
Mhm.
had a produce stand built, and we put our Quilted Homestead sign on the side of it, trying to welcome the community in and getting people to lighten up to the topic of homesteading and organic raw produce and things like that. Um, but people just really, they don't know because of
Yeah.
the laws, what's legal and what's not legal.
Yeah,
So
there are some pretty strict laws about stuff
Really?
like that. Yeah.
mhm.
That's really interesting that it would be, especially, that's just that each state is different, right?
Hmm.
Yes, it really is. So up there, it's very welcoming. And then and
Yes.
I don't think anything of it. When you go grocery shopping, you may buy all the, whatever you need at Aldi or this or that. But then the majority of your produce, you go from stand to stand to
Yeah.
stand. It's part of the community. You make
Right.
friends, you talk to people. Not
Right.
so much down here in our community, but we're trying to
Really?
change things. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, do you have to? So this is really new because I know somebody who, I don't know what part Kathleen is another friend of mine. She lives down in Alabama and has a farm. I'm just not sure which part of Alabama she is from.
Right.
So now, did you have to go get like a special business license to sell your produce?
Yes.
Yes, so we're under cottage food laws, and so you have
Yes.
to go through so you're familiar with cottage food laws,
Yes.
and then you go through the training of the canning and things. But since I've been canning all my life,
Mhm.
it was
We also have to have a grower's permit for our vegetables and any plants that we want to sell. And then there is also the milk permits, and we have to function under herd share laws here because
Okay.
raw milk is
Yes.
illegal in Alabama. And so if we wanted to sell our raw milk, we would have to set up a contract where whoever would get our milk would be part legal owners of our animals so that they're not drinking something that they bought. They would technically
Right.
own the animal.
mhm.
Right.
And then we have the milk tested
Mhm.
by a third-party company, and the results sent to the Department of Agriculture,
Mhm.
and then they send us a certificate for it's pet sales only, for pet
Yep.
consumption only. So the customers can come and buy, but it has to have a label on it saying for pet consumption only, and that's for the milk.
Mhm.
So
Well,
it's
so we're staying here in Virginia. There's no raw milk allowed.
Mhm.
There's a farm around the corner from me where I have a contract. I just never consumed it yet. I haven't like gone and filled up my jug. You leave your jug or however you. I guess it depends on how much. Like a gallon, I think was $6 or $7. I'm not sure.
mhm.
But in PA, you can buy raw milk in the store. I mean,
Really?
That's awesome.
so like my friends and they have a produce stand, right? And
Mhm.
it was kind of, but I had asked like, don't you have raw milk here? And they're like, I'm like, okay, but you can go and purchase it. Like when I go up there, I would normally buy, it's the Jersey A2 raw milk.
Mhm.
And I can go
Good
in and
stuff.
Yeah.
I can go buy that in the markets, like the Mennonite bulk stores or the Amish bulk stores. I can
Right.
go in and actually purchase that milk. And we don't drink a lot of milk here. That's the thing.
Right.
I can't anymore since Lyme disease. It's something that I'm not. Thank you, Rudy. Something that I just don't do anymore. And in Virginia, we
Minnesota
have
has coverage. Yeah. I'm starting to read some of these comments here now.
Please do. And if I need to pull them
Minnesota.
up and I've missed something, please let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get a little bit better leadership where our food laws are concerned and that our private sale rights are protected a little bit more. So I actually wrote a letter to Governor
KIV.
explaining to her that, in a time of crisis in our country, people are going to be afraid to trade farm to farm and, farm to consumer.
Yeah, like we saw during COVID and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
With the supply chain being weak. Yeah.
It's interesting how each state is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you probably in Ohio, you could probably go to the farm stand or get the raw milk.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. You go to your local Amish dairy and you just picked up your milk, and things are pretty free up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't that sad when you think about the control? Okay. I'm not getting political here. Okay. I'm actually stating what I believe is to be true. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How much government has its hands in our food industry.
That's right.
And how our country allows all those chemicals and stuff in our food. But even like when my daughter and them, after they got married, they went to Italy, right? And a lot of your other countries, everything is so freshly done. Like if it's cheese, then there's the rennet, the milk, the salt in there, right? You don't, there's nothing else in it. It's cheese. We don't have to put the oil in there or anything like that. I just always, I think it's always been like that, but I think for me personally, it's more about me waking up and realizing, I think it's gotten worse over the years, our food industry,
it has.
in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So we actually started homesteading. Like I said, I grew up on a homestead, and then my husband and I got married and we moved closer to town, and we had 3 acres at the time. That was over 30 years ago. And when I had my children, Heather was a little bit of a testimony. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little bit slow.
Talking about the food system leads us right into why we started homesteading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Heather, when I was 12 weeks pregnant with Heather, she didn't have a heartbeat.
Wow.
And they were going to take her. And I told the doctor, no. I said, I need some time. Just, give me 48 hours, 72 hours. And we agreed on 3 days. And I went home and I prayed my heart out. And by the grace of God, 3 days later, the ultrasound showed that she had a heartbeat. But that day they would have taken her. They were going to wheel me down the hallway and just go ahead and take her that day. And had I not just stopped and said, no, let's think about this. Let's pray about this. So 3 days later, she had a heartbeat. When she was born, she had a problem with her hips, and the doctor told me that she would never walk.
Yeah, they said I'd be in a wheelchair.
Because her hip sockets didn't form. So from the time she was born till about 1 year old, she had to wear a brace where it held her legs out to the side.
So that my hips could form.
So she was busy forming hip sockets between birth and 1 year old. And then about 4 to 5 years old, she started having trouble with her gut. So she was getting sick, I'll just put it that way, over and over again. And she was losing a massive amount of weight. So we went to the GI doctor. And back then, what was that, 20 years ago, right? Over 20 years ago, the GI doctor suggested goat's milk, raw goat's milk.
Yes, yes.
And I looked over at my husband and I thought, I can do that. I can milk a goat. I grew up on a homestead.
Sure, why not?
So we went and bought our first milk goat.
And she was ornery and mean And that was
Lopsided.
fun learning with that one.
So you remember that, Heather?
I do. I was 6, I think 6
Yeah,
or
5 or 6 years
Yeah.
old.
So I remember the first goat, and I remember when we started homesteading, like for real on our 3 acres. So we started with the goat and goat's milk, and then it turned into chickens.
Yeah.
And then bread making. And
The goat was really odd for Heather though, because she had been so sick and she was getting so weak and she was losing so much weight. And I was getting really concerned for her life at that point. We were doing different medications that the doctor gave us, but when she got a hold of that goat's milk, she understood that that was her lifeline.
it was life-changing.
It would stay
Really?
down,
Yeah.
you know, the good probiotics in the milk and the
Sure.
live enzymes, and she
Yeah.
could hold it down and keep it down. And then
Oh,
she
that's
started
wonderful.
putting on weight. So
That's
it
wonderful.
got to the point, it got to the point where, you know, mornings I was running behind or something like this. And at the time we were still had the SAD diet, you know, the American diet.
Standard American diet, sad.
Yeah. And we were kind of half homesteading and half going to the grocery store back then. And I used to put her Cheerios or whatever in the bowl, and I would run down to the
milking barn.
That's funny. That's funny.
and I would put her cereal bowl right underneath the goat and
Well,
milk the goat right into it.
Yeah.
And put it right there, right? Because I mean,
I know. Our clean practices are a lot better now, but it worked back then.
Yeah.
it worked back then.
And we've learned
amazing.
a lot since we started. Yeah.
You did what, Heather?
We've learned a lot since we started
Oh, I
homesteading.
bet you have. I bet you have.
Yeah,
I
it
really
evolved.
do. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of kids that have allergies nowadays, and I believe it's a lot. And I've said it from day one, that it has to do with the foods that they're ingesting. I mean, I know firsthand. Somebody was just saying on here, like, I don't know if you had heard, but there's Trader Joe's, Aldi, was it Kroger stores too? They had all these recalls on chicken for salmonella. Like a lot of their meat has been recalled. And then I think Teletrezors had just said that McDonald's just had an outburst of E. coli.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know me, yeah, I do. And I think a lot of it is because I worked in the schools for so many years that you kind of saw, I mean, you know, we're not perfect people, right? We provide and give our children the best that we can give them. And sometimes, you know, and anybody who knows that if you want to change eating or eat healthy, it's so much more expensive than, you know, going to buy the other highly processed foods, right?
Yes.
Right.
So
exactly. So when we were first purchasing, before we got our goat, when we were first purchasing raw goat's milk from a farm, we were driving over an hour to get our milk. And then it was $10 to $20 a gallon over 20 years ago. So that's why I looked at my husband and I was like, I can milk a goat. Let's buy our own, because it was putting a lot of pressure on the family. You know, financially, and then the drive every single week to get goat milk and stuff. So once we got our first goat, it just bloomed from there. We started learning so much. And the more we went organic, the more we started healing. Like I watched her heal. And then I put myself on the diet because I have my own issues. So our whole family went organic and raw.
Okay. So I would probably be the only one in my house that would do the raw thing. So I don't know. My husband, he's like, ew. And I said, but you don't understand. It's healing properties for your gut, because
the raw milk
is putting all that good bacteria back in to your gut that gets removed when we take antibiotics and stuff. And we also have to remember too, you know, if they say you take, like, for me, I was taking some pretty strong medication when I had Lyme disease, and it wasn't just those antibiotics. I was taking over 40 pills a day.
Wow.
And that was antibiotics on top of supplements too, because I had other issues that came out from that. But it was like, you had to have good probiotic. Well, Isn't that kind of what raw milk is a probiotic for your
Yes,
stomach?
it is.
When you
It's
think
a
Yes.
about
culture.
it?
Yes. We were just talking about that
This
this morning
morning.
and RFK. I know we're not supposed to get political, but RFK is, fighting for our food health.
Yeah.
And Heather, what were you saying about
About the food being alive?
yes.
Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah. So I was just spending some time thinking about the cycles of the homestead and what we're talking about. And there's so much to it. So we got to go to the homemakers conference this last weekend, and I got to talk to Beth Doherty, and she was just such a joy to talk to. And we started talking about homestead stuff. And I've been thinking about learning how to do sourdough, and I've been thinking about like the bacterias and the ferments and the good gut bacteria and things.
Sure.
And I'm also at the same time learning about pasture health and managing cows and how to grow healthy grass and put the carbon and the good nutrients back into the soil so that the grass feeds the cow, and then the cow's raw milk feeds you. And I really feel like it was the Lord whisper in my ear and say, it's more than the chemicals. Your food is supposed to be alive, because the raw milk is still alive. When you cook it, you kill it. The produce from the garden is alive. You harvest it and you put it in your salad bowl, and it's good to eat. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, in terms of the pasture and the grass, when you fertilize the grass with the compost or the cow manure or anything that's on the grass pulls that nutrient down into the soil, and the roots push the nutrients down into the grass, and they help break that up and feed the soil so that more grass grows. And as I was thinking about the raw milk and the sourdough and the ferments, I was thinking those things are what's responsible for breaking down the nutrient in your gut, and they help you absorb that, just like the grass roots pull the nutrients from the soil into the earth deeper down.
So do the probiotics and things
for our
pull
gut,
the
pull the
nutrients.
nutrients into our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah. And I need to do better about doing that. I want to start fermenting more things. Do you ever watch RuthAnn Zimmerman? See things.
Oh, love her.
RuthAnn Zimmerman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually got to meet her at HOA.
Oh, that's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Isn't she just wonderful?
Yes.
I love listening to her and her wisdom. She has some wisdom, and she has a story to tell too. And I want to hear her story. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to hear about her story, and one day maybe she will tell it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
she was doing that collab meant to ferment over the summertime. So I thought, okay, I have everything here that's been collecting dust once again on my pantry shelf. Let's ferment some pickles. Well, I'll be honest with you. I was a little nervous about it, right?
Right.
Because I didn't I like the stuff that I have, but it wasn't, the directions just to me weren't very clear. I was having a really hard time. Anyhow, I did exactly what it said, but one jar of the pickles kind of came above the surface. That was gross. So I'm like, okay, those are no good.
Dump
But I wasn't seeing the bubbles. Like, I wasn't seeing the bubbles, maybe just a little bit. And I ended up throwing out all the jars of pickles.
Oh no.
I was so scared to even attempt to eat it. And I'm like, I can't give this to my family. I don't want to get sick.
I purchased something called a pickle puck. Do you know what I'm talking about, Heather?
I don't.
I know what you're talking about, the pickle pucks.
They're
glass. I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
Do we have one in the kitchen that I can grab and show?
In the top drawer,
top
there's a little, it's just a little round piece of glass. They're called pickle pucks.
I'll go find
for fermenting. And when you get your vegetables and stuff in there, you get your liquid on there, you just place it on the top and you push it down with your finger. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, like a weight. It's weighted.
Yes.
To press it down.
Holds it down.
Okay. I've never heard it called a pickle puck.
Yes. And then there is what looks like a baby bottle nipple.
Okay.
That goes on the top of the jar that just has a hole in it that allows the air to escape, and it allows that fermentation to get going. So that's what has worked for me. So I know, just try again.
Yeah, that part I'm missing. And so our friends were here like a week or two ago, and he said he has all that, but he said he's just filled up like a little baggie with water and then just gently placed it to keep it underneath whatever.
Oh,
fluid.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you don't
I
need
do
fancy
need
gadgets. Just get a Ziploc.
well, I actually have to go get Ziplocs today because I'm out, believe it or not.
I think we must have used them all when we did the last jar of
Oh,
pickles.
did we? Okay.
But I know it's like Heather, it's like a weighted thing that goes on the top. So I do know but I've just never heard of it called as a pickle puck.
Yeah, pickle
See,
pucks. I love
Jennifer
them.
Ocean. Okay, hold on. I got some comments we need to come back to.
Yes.
Let's see. No, we did that. So apparently there was a recall. Adrian was saying it was caused by the onion at McDonald's for the E. coli. There was nothing raw. It was the onion that caused the outbreak. I guess somebody died from it, which is really
Oh
sad.
my goodness,
you know?
that's sad.
Yes, that is.
And I will admit, you guys, I have an addiction to McDonald's large Diet Cokes and French fries from time to time. I'm not going to lie. But I know. But so when our friends were here, we had stopped. And I said, I don't know what's with these fries. There is something really off about them because my stomach started hurting. I'm like, I don't know what they're using in their oil anymore, but it's just not good. So let's see. Okay. So Adrian is Indiana backyard gardener, in case you wanted to know. She lives up in Indiana. If you don't see bubbles after 3 days, you add more sugar. That's good to know. The directions on here, I followed the recipe that came in my fermenting kit. I'm like, are you sure I'm not supposed to add? Like, I question the recipe. I'm like, this doesn't seem right, but who am I to say anything?
Raw unpasteurized honey is the best antibiotic on earth. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Do you do the honey and garlic? Infused garlic with honey?
I do fermented garlic, and then Heather has the beehives, and I do actually. I take the syrup from the garlic and pour it in, and then mix it half and half with honey. Like
do you
that.
have any of this stuff on your YouTube channel or anywhere where people can watch and learn?
So we're trying to get some videos up that are more tutorial style. So I'm working on one right now, like today, that is bread making. So it's my favorite bread recipe that it's like it's an easy 30-minute bread dough. And I do basically everything with this dough. It's been cinnamon rolls. It's been pizza dough. It's been sandwich bread, dinner rolls, braided loaves. So yes,
our
trying
heart,
to.
I want that recipe.
Our heart really is to teach people how to take goods off their homestead, from the garden, from the cow, goat's milk, things like this, and bring them into their kitchens and know how to cook with them. Because, instead of going to get cream of chicken soup or cream of mushroom soup or something like that, we make our own roux and sauces and brown butters and things a lot like the Mennonite and Amish do. So it's been a joy and a blessing for me to be able to go up north and see my family up there and learn from them, and then bring that knowledge back down to Alabama.
Absolutely.
Because like I said, I was only lived up there as a small child, and then we would go back for family reunions. So every time I go up, I'm always like learning and asking people questions, and then coming back down and implementing. But we have a whole way of life and a system, the way we live, which brings us to the Victory Garden.
Yes.
And what's going on. And that's our heart. We want to show people. So like Heather's first bread video that she's doing right now is with regular flour from the grocery store. So we want to take people from regular flour and how to make those things, because they can start practicing with what they have. And then we want to bring them into, okay, this is a wheat berry. This is how you grind it. Okay. And I know there's a lot of people who do those videos out there, but some people just need to start small and kind of learn, oh, this is how you do that. And
I feel like that's where a lot of new homesteaders and new people who are like getting into the homemaker traditional lifestyle, I feel like that's where they hit a roadblock, is because they get the goats and they're all excited to milk them, and they get the garden, they're all excited to can their produce, but they get overwhelmed by the amount of work, and they're watching all of these people on Instagram who are doing their home ground wheat sourdough loaves, and it looks beautiful, and they feel like it should be easy for them, but there's a whole learning process, and you can't hold yourself up to,
that
Right.
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's simple,
Right.
small steps.
Yeah.
Simple
Yeah,
things.
because you know what? Do you know how intimidated I was to even try sourdough? Like, how do I do that? I was so intimidated by it. I killed many starters. So I was so frustrated with myself. Hey, Rob's Allotment Gardening. He's from the UK. We have some special.
Oh, no.
It's actually, I sell sourdough starter now. I dehydrate it and I give you all the steps on the back on how to rehydrate it. So
Hey,
you
that's
have
awesome.
a kit. Karen, I'm plugging myself. If you want any, it's.
Well, we should talk more about sourdough sometime, because I'm still learning with the starters and everything.
Let's do it. But I finally, my friend Tammy at Mountain Grandma, and then there's Lisa over at Yogi Hollow. They did like this open collaboration well over a year ago about sourdough bread. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And I filmed it. And you know what? It was not scary, nor was it hard to do. So now that's my go-to sandwich bread. I have a recipe. I got it off from RuthAnn Zimmerman, I think, who got it from Venison for Dinner is the name of her channel. And she's on Instagram too. But it's the easiest thing now to do. So I said, how can I do this and teach people? And so I dehydrated mine. I take it to market with me, and I've sold a couple of the packs. And
How about that? And it just comes back to life?
It comes back to life if you follow my steps. And I got that inspiration from when I killed all my sourdough. I went to Amazon.com and I was like, sourdough starter, right? And they had lots of them, but this one was from the San Francisco company. It was a dehydrated sourdough. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get that and I'm going to try it. And sure enough, I followed their directions and I had a sourdough starter.
How about that?
A bunch of sourdough starter now in my refrigerator. Because you have to test and practice before you try and sell it, right? Like I'm not going to go try and sell something if I can't do it myself.
Yeah. So do you have like a whole schedule with your sourdough? I've heard some ladies like they start the dough the night before and they let it rise all night. And like, how does your schedule look with the sourdough?
So I'll be honest with you. So I will take it out, my starter out. I will feed it. And like yesterday, I took both my starters out yesterday and I fed it. And within a couple of hours, it was already to go. Like it was so active, all the little bubbles. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to let it sit here longer. And so last night I did my dough for my bread and I let that sit overnight and rise. And then when I got up this morning, all I had to do was form it. And it's been rising all day. The one is a little bit smaller. That's why it's still sitting on my counter. So the other one I took out of the oven.
I want to learn how to put the sourdough in the fridge and then save it to where you need it and then pull it out like that. I used to do sourdough a long time ago and do the English muffins and the crackers and things like that, but I was constantly feeding it. It was like a monster that was eating all my flour.
Well, that's the thing. So I have a mason jar. That's probably about a quarter, almost half full of the sourdough discard. So what you don't use, I discard it. And I know RuthAnn Zimmerman has, and there's recipes out there that you use your sourdough discard for cinnamon rolls, for crackers and stuff like that. So it's not bad. It's not bad. You can use that as a starter. And so it's not that it's bad. It's just, why am I going to throw that away if I can still use it to make food? You know, that's then being wasteful, and you know what I mean. So I try not to waste. I'm
The
not
old timers used to say, "Waste not, want not."
Ace want. Yes, that's correct. So we are going to talk about something that Ruth Ann has started, and it's called a victory garden. No, you're fine, Ann. Thank you for everything. Be blessed and have a good night. She is starting a victory garden. Go ahead. You want to tell us about all of that and how that became?
So, Heather, why don't you start with do you want me to start with Dad's story, or do you want to start with the history of Victory Gardens?
Let's start with the history and then get into why it's important.
Okay, you go first.
Why don't you start out? Because I'm not sure which direction you want to head.
Well, so why did the government implement Victory Gardens? And when?
Oh, okay. So I was thinking, okay, World War II. So during World War II, there was a huge strain on the food system, just like there was during COVID, except, you can imagine from 1940 to now, our food system has actually gotten weaker because of industrialization and how dependent we are on different inputs to our system. So during the 1940s, they were having a similar problem, and that is all of our men were overseas fighting a war, and there was not enough work. There's not enough workers. So a lot of women went to work in the factories, they went to work on farms, and they started dispersing the women out to these places. We realized that our food system was fragile, and the government implemented the Victory Garden program, which they actually incentivized families growing their own food so that our system didn't have to support so much. So they put flyers and posters everywhere, and you can Google Victory Garden posters 1940s and pull up some really awesome posters where they are saying, grow vitamins at your back door, right? Uncle Sam wants you, grow a garden, right? So they had a plan, which was a standard plan that the government made for a garden. So the government sat down, drew up a plan for the ideal American household family's needs and how they could fill that from their backyard. And they said, everybody needs to plant this many tomatoes, this many green beans, this many cabbages, and can it for the year so that you're saving that produce to reduce the strain on the food system. So that way, all of our extra produce from the food system could go overseas to supporting the war efforts.
Yes. So basically, our government implemented homesteads.
Yeah, they were called Victory Gardens. They commissioned
homesteads, and they commissioned, the typical housewife back then and or communities to come together and do community gardens so that they could feed their own families in their communities in the event, which is one of the reasons why I wrote to Governor Kay Ivey, was to explain to her, and I'm sure Governor Kay Ivey is in, how old do you think she is? Maybe in 70s?
I'm not sure. I would guess she's in her 70s.
So she remembers all of this history. And I reminded her that if something happened to our country, if there was an event and the need, that people would be afraid to trade now because of all the laws, because of, it's different from state to state. Right. And there are people who are unsure. Well, if you don't have a supply chain from a grocery store like we saw in COVID, where are you going to get your food? Communities are going to have to come together, where now neighbors won't talk to each other, at least where we are.
Well, in a lot of communities,
in a lot of communities, they are.
Yeah.
And they're very skeptical of one another. We need to bring each other together again so that they understand, okay, this is how you grow a garden. This is how you use your food that comes off of the homestead. This is how you trade your food. And there is a lot of cleanliness practices that need to come in, and there are cautions that need to be put in place.
But it's just something you have to learn.
Right. Yeah. So basically, and here's the topic that we wanted to go for. Are you ready, Tina?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. So one that is difficult, actually, I know I tend to laugh when I get nervous, so y'all forgive me, because it really is not funny. When COVID came through, it took my husband 3 years ago, and that was really difficult for everyone. Of course, it was a shock. None of us expected that one of ours would go.
I'm very sorry. Take a moment.
Take a knee, right? And I'll tell you a little story, so that gives me a little break. When I was a little girl, and I would fall and hurt myself, like if I fell down and skinned my knee, or got a boo-boo or whatever, my mom, she would pick me up and she would say, praise the Lord, Ruthie, praise the Lord. And I learned very early, at a very early age, that if something hurt me, I would just begin to praise the Lord. And then she would clean me up and kiss my boo-boos and everything would be fine. Well, when I lost Ray, we had been married for 30 years. I just began to worship the Lord. So, and in our faith, I grew up Assembly of God evangelical with my mama.
Okay.
And I married a Baptist. My husband was Baptist, Southern Baptist. And then I, of course, have my Amish Mennonite heritage in Ohio. And one of my aunts married an Amishman. So we actually have Amish Mennonite cousins. And so I've done my own studying, and I myself am a modern Mennonite. So we are kind of like a soup pot of faiths in our house. But neither here nor there. I went in my room and I shut the door and I got on my knees and I just started to worship the Lord. And I was so distraught that I would just, of course, and I'm sure y'all can understand, I would just cry and worship the Lord. I would put that music on and just, there was a lot of asking God, why? What do? I don't know what to do.
How do we get along without Dad?
Yeah. So about 2 or 3 weeks after Ray passed away, it was about 4:00 in the morning. And I just had my hands in the air in worship. And I was just praising the Lord for his goodness. What else can you do in tragedy, right?
Yeah.
And I turned around and I faced my dresser that has a mirror on it. And when I did, I just felt the Holy Spirit just fall in my room. Like it felt like warm pudding just hit me in the forehead, and then it descended on my shoulders and down my arms, and it was like warm pudding or soup. That's what it felt like. And it went all the way to my toes, and I just got chills all over. And when that happened, I stopped crying and lamenting, and I just got real still and calm, like a peace came over me like I had never felt before. And I knew it was the Holy Spirit in my room. Okay, this is my faith and my belief. I knew something amazing was happening. And at that moment, I saw in my mind's eye, not with my physical eye, and I didn't hear anything with my physical ears. It was like a knowing inside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like watching a movie or a video camera. Like sometimes when you're watching a movie on TV, they'll do a back
montage.
Yeah, a montage, and you'll see like different scenes from different eras, and it'll be like on the movie you're watching. So you kind of get an idea in the movie, like somebody reminiscing or somebody remembering.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind's eye, I saw what Heather's talking about. I saw the Great Depression. So first I saw the Spanish influenza, which happened in 1918.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the Great Depression, like scenes flashing through my mind. And I saw an economic collapse. And then I saw like World War II, but it was in modern day. And I just got real still, and I'm watching the scene play through, my mind or my heart. And I had a knowing, like I didn't hear anything audible, but I just had a knowing in my spirit that this would play out again in the future. And I heard the Holy Spirit speak to my heart and say, I took Ray home so that you and the kids can make it through what's coming. Okay. So this was just a word from the Lord, or what we call a word of knowledge. And I just got real still before the Lord. And I really didn't understand it a lot because she's the history buff. And we have what we call morning meetings every morning. So of course, the next morning I shared this with the kids, what the Lord had given me. And Heather had the other piece to that puzzle. And she started describing to me the history of what went on and what I saw. You see?
I do. Yeah.
We're walking hand in hand here. So basically what you have, if you look back on history, is you have a 10 to 20 year span of the Spanish influenza, which was a pandemic, okay, just like
Mhm.
COVID. And then you have that Spanish influenza that swept the world, causing or sparking the Great Depression. Now, a lot of you or a lot of
Yeah,
people
and the
out,
First World War. And First World War sparked the Spanish influenza, and the Spanish influenza drained the economy.
yes,
Yeah.
and then we went into the Great Depression, and then you have another 10-year span there where World War II, because of the tensions economically around the globe, the tensions, it sparked or helped spark World War II. Now, there are a lot of history buffs out there that can come in and argue, well, this made that happen and that made that happen. It doesn't matter to me. All I know is that I saw this chain of events, the cycle happen, and the Holy Spirit tell me this is going to replay again.
The sickness, the economy, and then global
Yes.
strife.
So where I didn't know what to do, at that moment I knew what to do, that we were to prepare. So for me and my family, we are to prepare our family for what's coming in the future. And whether that takes 10 to 20 years like it did last time, or whether it's going to be on a faster scale, like I felt like it was going to happen on a faster scale this time because of technology and internet and the dollar actually being digital now.
Things move much faster than they used to.
So,
wow.
Yes. Yes. So from that day forward, we began to share that with Ray's friends and our families, the community, and just trying to get the word out that we all need to prepare. We all need to be learning the old ways.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones preparing. There's a lot of people that I've heard, big names in homesteading and even in politics, that are saying we need to be preparing for something that is happening with everything in the news.
Yeah, and as funny as it is, we're not really preppers, are we?
No, no, I wouldn't call us preppers.
We're homesteaders. So we have learned to function where all of our food comes off the homestead, and we actually save for one season.
Yeah.
And then the next season we replenish it.
We're only prepped until the following spring.
Yeah, and we're still dependent on the grocery stores a little bit. But we're trying to get less and less dependent on the grocery store.
Right. Yeah, I think am I a prepper? I don't know. I guess. Oh, let me pull that up. Adrian says it reminds her of Joseph's dream.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, first of all, my condolences to you and your family. I'm very sorry over the loss of Ray.
Thank you.
I could not imagine what you have gone through. But I can see that you're very, God has seen you through this and has strengthened you in that time. And your mission seems now to be helping the people in your community with a victory garden.
Yes.
Is that where you're going with it, is to help people? Are you going to help people start, or are you holding like little workshops at your farm to bring the community together, or how do you see that playing out in your community?
So that's a good question. So because people are so fearful of organic produce and raw milks and things like that, and it's difficult where we're at. We actually have talked about moving to a homesteading community or finding a community where we're better suited. But until then, God has us here. So that's why I began to write letters. I talked to Senator Shay Shelnut about our laws, and of course the letter to Governor Kay Ivey.
But as far as helping people, yes, that's definitely what we want to do. That's why I'm running the YouTube channel, and why I'm trying to get my feet underneath me as far as the technical skill of running the YouTube channel.
Sure.
And I want to do more tutorial style stuff so that people can learn what we do. And as far as community goes, I can only help the people who are willing to listen. And there have been some families. I can think of the family that came and got the little rooster.
Oh, yes.
They were so precious and they want to learn. And we have them, families like that back out again and again because they're eager to learn.
Yes.
And that's our joy, is to help people with that.
We do have some families come out here, and we have been very blessed by being able to help them. I think everybody is just kind of overwhelmed by the topic of, where do we start? How do we prepare?
Right.
Because it seems so unreachable. But the truth is that nobody can do it alone.
No,
Like
No,
even as a
you can't.
homestead, we can't produce everything even for ourselves. But the
Right.
more homesteads we have around us, if somebody was like,
barter.
yeah, if they specialized
Exactly.
or
Yes.
somebody else specialized in milk, or somebody else
Yeah.
specialized
Right.
in growing peppers,
I
or
recently bartered a couple of baby chicks for some quail hatching eggs, and so
That's
I
awesome.
kept in contact with the lady, and we're trading back and forth. And that's
Isn't that the best feeling? Isn't that the best feeling?
it
yes.
is.
So
Making
because
friends.
when and even to this day still, I do orders once a month for a brick and mortar that I used to have. And I became friends with one of the local farmers who does grass-fed beef, but it is grain finished. And we would do the same thing. Like if she needed some, like, well, how about we just kind of trade and call it even? If I get the beef and whatever equivalent was your total, say she spent $50. Hey, can I just get that in beef? And
I love hearing those words. Let's trade and call it even.
Yes.
yeah, let's trade and call it even. And there was one day they had gone away on vacation just for a couple of days. And she calls me, she goes, we got home and one of our freezers went out. We can't sell the meat. Could you use anything? I'm like, whatever you want to give me, I will graciously accept it and say thank you. And what can I give you? She's like, they don't want anything in return. And yeah, it was just one of those blessings. Like you got to get to know that farmer in your community because you don't know how you can help each other. I think that's key.
Yes,
key.
communities
It's all
have
about
to come
community.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian, I couldn't agree more. The peace of God surpasses all of our understanding.
Yes.
And when you have that peace, it truly is amazing, right? Like I have found myself in situations where you like what you just said, Adrian, where that peace and you just know everything's going to be okay. Like it's all fine because God's there. He's gone before us. He's made the path before us.
That's right.
Yes.
So you do have a, can you type Heather in the, well, actually guys, they're in the comment section about or put your Facebook link or your IG links. I don't know if anybody out there is on any other social media platforms, but you guys, I think you should go show some love to their YouTube channel and any social media links too. So so how big is your garden? I'm curious.
It's about 60 to 70 feet by 100 feet. So I don't know how many square feet that is.
Yeah.
And we're going to extend it just a little bit this year. So what I tried to do is start focusing on the things that I know that I can put up in store.
Right.
And things that grow well in our area. So I have started doing a big patch of pie pumpkins.
Okay.
Because pie pumpkins, you can just cut them, cure them, put them on a shelf for the winter, and they last all winter long. And then I pull from them to cook them. So when I do a pie pumpkin, I just wash it, destem it. I poke a knife all over it and stick the whole pumpkin in the oven for about an hour to an hour and a half until it's done. And then I, take all its innards out. But I know, sorry.
Thanks, Victoria. I appreciate you.
We do pumpkin pies a lot.
Oh, thank you for subscribing.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. So
and
then
if you didn't hear, Heather is working on the channel. And Heather, your mom knows my number. You know how to get a hold of me. And I will help with anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. So all of our social media is under the same name, our Quilted Homestead, Facebook, Instagram, website, YouTube. Okay. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I'm losing track of the comments.
Yes. Keeping up.
I know. Well, let's see. So Victoria G subscribe to your channel. Karen says that she's going to, after our live's over, they're going to go subscribe over to you. So hopefully you'll pick up some new friends.
Yeah.
So these are some regular, they're really supportive of my channel. And I think, this is fun. I could do more lives with you.
This is fun.
I like it too.
I do lives once a week. Every Wednesday I do a live for about an hour or so. So if you ever want to come back, let me know. So come to Virginia and start a homestead here. We have the Homesteaders of America conference here where you're right plugged in.
Yeah.
Amy Fuel. Yeah, we
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
We're there. So we just had a Victory Garden stand made to put out by the roadside,
Mhm.
and
You
we're
have a
trying
picture of
to
it.
yes,
Yeah.
and we're trying to just put a few things out there to kind of feel the atmosphere and test the community and see are they
What's
willing to
needed
trade?
and
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm assuming it's probably difficult to grow there compared to Ohio, right? Or do you
Very
find
much
it,
so.
or do you find it easier? And I think because
It's
it's probably
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
In what
It's
way?
very different. So we get a lot of invasive grass down here.
Centipede.
We call it centipede grass or wiregrass.
Okay.
And it just takes over. And when you try to pull it up, it really does feel like wire. They don't get so much of that in Ohio.
It attaches to everything.
Also, the heat. We go through droughts. Yeah.
Oh, we've been in a drought over here, just so you know. We actually have been getting warnings. I don't know if anybody else, but thanks, Tell Us Treasure.
Oh, thank you.
That's for
Victoria
God.
G
That's
says,
for
yes,
God
I
to tell
enjoy.
us.
Yeah, I enjoy finding like-minded people. Yes. Yeah.
Very much
Us too.
so.
I do too.
We need each other.
Yes.
We do. I was trying to see if I could find. Is that's your cow?
Yeah, yes, that's us. That's Maddie.
I love that.
We
I was
love our
trying to find
animals.
the picture. Oh, here it is. Maybe I can find it. No, you wrote a book. Who wrote the book?
So I wrote Nan's Raven Mascot and the One Room Schoolhouse. Heather, slide back in.
Let me grab it.
It's right there on the thing.
Where's the book she wrote?
I was a children's books writer when I was young, before I had the kids. And
Here, I need the headphone back so I can hear Miss Tina.
Oh, here.
when I decided to stay home and homeschool the kids, because we homeschooled all the way through, I put down my career. So back then I actually had a contract with not a publishing company, but a producer, like somebody who wanted to make a movie. And he wanted to do the book and the movie on one of my children's books. And I was so excited because I had always gone to the conference, children's books writers and illustrators conferences and things. And I'd finally made it to that point where I was fixing to go somewhere with it. And at the time that the contract became an issue, they were real small. So I had babies. I had 3 babies crawling around the living room. And my husband worked for a steel plant. He was an electrician. So in the contract, it asked, or it stated, that I would have to fly out on a moment's notice or go here or there for the company. And, Ray was looking at me like, what do I do with 3 babies? So the contract was on the coffee table. And one day I was walking through and I had been praying about it. And I looked in his big blue eyes and I said, you know what? This can wait. And I took the contract to the garbage can and I just tore it up and threw it in. And he was a quiet type. Ray was a very soft man. And he just walked over, through the kitchen. He wrapped his big arms around me and he said, thank you. And so I just gave it up. So after Ray passed away and we were going through the frenzy of, getting things sorted out, financially for our family.
Yeah.
Heather looked over at me and said, Mom?
Well, Dad passed away 6 weeks before my college graduation. And when I graduated college, I had all of these English skills that I had taken. And I said, Mom, it's time to do something for you. It's time to do this. Mm-hmm. And so I used Mom's words and Teresa Gross. She had the illustrations done when I was little. And I took Teresa's illustrations and Mom's word, and I put the book together. So I did the book design.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
It's called Nan's Raven Mascot and the One Room Schoolhouse.
It's cute.
And then the dedication, I'll read you the dedication.
Yes, please do.
It says, this book is dedicated to all Christian private schools, one-room schoolhouses, homeschool co-ops, and homeschooling families who boldly teach God's word, the Bible. Also to every teacher who still teaches scripture memorization and instills in a child the ability to pull from a well of living waters in times of trouble.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And it's all about a little girl whose hair just goes everywhere and she can't control it. And that story was written for this one.
I was going to say, maybe Sherry, no offense, tell us treasure, but my sister had very curly hair growing up. Like, yeah, just like natural curly. You couldn't do anything with it. That's so funny. I was going to say, because that picture kind of resembles her.
Yes.
Yeah, so Nan was based on me, and Pam, do you have a picture of Pam in there?
So this is
my
Heather.
Sister, Rachel, has long blonde braids.
That's Heather and
so
Rachel. Cute. So yes, the raven gets stuck in Nan's hair. And this is all about, so the ending verse that I put in there.
It's based on Romans 8:28.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose, Romans 8:28.
Oh, so, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you. So that's on, you can find it at Books A Million or Barnes & Noble,
okay,
Amazon.
I have a Books A Million here. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think right now it's online only, except in our local stores. So the Coleman Books A Million carries it, and the Coleman Christian Bookstore carries it in store. But I'm going through the process where I have to ask for them to carry it in stores, and it has to be improved by different steps of corporate things. So you can get it online.
I think what you need to do, I think you need to hit some of your Mennonite and Amish communities and have them sell it at their bookstores. In Pennsylvania, there is a couple of bookstores I could tell you about. They sell a lot of curriculum. The one sells a lot of curriculum for the Amish schools, one room schools house. But, you know, I think they would do really well up there.
Thank you.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
That's what I think you should do.
Yeah. So if the website says.
So glory to God, right? Glory be to God.
Yes. You know, during the times when the kids were little and Heather was having so many health issues, I used to just pray, God, why? You know, why are we going through this difficulty? Why is this happening? But that led us into homesteading, and it led us into learning all of these things for 20 years. And now I know why all of those things happened, because it's time to teach other people how to homestead. It's time to bring out the victory garden.
Right.
We are giving blessings. Everybody, we are given blessings so that we can turn around and bless others.
That's right.
Amen.
We are blessed to be a blessing.
Yeah, I agree with you. One of the things, you know, and I did with not even recognizing it. So one of the first things I did when we moved to our little homestead is I got chickens. And I remember watching, I think it was on IG maybe, I don't know, but it was RuthAnn Zimmerman. And she says, everybody says you should start a garden, and garden is not a bad thing to start. But when you want to start learning to be more self-sufficient, you should really start with getting protein put on your homestead first, because that's really what's going to fill the bellies, right? In that. And you start from there. So I took that to heart when she said that. And I'm like, okay, well, my protein was eggs, right? But you know, if I don't have a freeze dryer, I've never dehydrated eggs, so I don't know what those would even taste like, to be honest with you. And then I know people do water glassing eggs, and that's just the whole process I'm just not sure about, right?
Yeah.
So but you have a beautiful story to share.
Thank you.
There's a lot in there, and I don't know about you. I know I've been really touched by your story. Today by listening to your story, and I'm sure many others will be touched as well when they hear it. Does anybody have any questions for Heather or RuthAnn? I have to pause before it comes out of my mouth. I've enjoyed the chat with you today. That's been really fun.
Oh, thank you so much for having us on. I really enjoy your videos.
Thank
you. And your
you.
courage too. You just get on that camera and you just go to cooking. You make people feel comfortable while they're watching you. So.
Yes. I'm still learning that skill of not being awkward in front of the camera.
And it does take some time. I found, Heather, with each video, I saw a little improvement with like camera angles and what I was doing, how I was speaking. And like the video I put out today for the collaboration that I was in was really, it wasn't my best because I've been very tired lately for some reason. And so I know, like, I deleted like part of it yesterday. I'm like, this doesn't even sound right. Start all over. And you know, I don't know. There's so I do a lot of my recording on my phone. I'm not going to invest in a real expensive camera right now until I get monetized and I start making more money with it. But there was one time I was very new, and I have it up on a tripod. And in the middle of me, it was going so well, and all of a sudden my phone did that.
Oh no!
So, you know, I left it in there because I thought it was important. It's like, and I typed on the video.
It's
I was
live.
like, wait for it. I'm like, you guys, and I'm cracking up. I'm cracking up. I'm like, what else, right? Could really happen right now. But
Yeah.
it's one of those little bloopers that I think, you know, we're all human. It's real life. And
Yeah.
I'm going to show the messy kitchen, you know, in my videos. I'm like, this is real life. I don't have time right now, you know, so it's just where it is.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you give us courage that we can do it too.
I've started putting
can.
a blooper section in the back of my videos because I've been learning how to use the editor. And I've been taking the cuts that I'm like, I don't want that in the video, and putting them at the end and just put some music with it and let it roll.
But yeah, why not, right? So, and I learned too, like I used to have a full, in my very beginning, I used to do like a full intro into my showing the chickens. I had the music playing. And I just stopped doing that. I'm like, I found, at least for my channel, I found that it took away from people wanting to continue to watch. So I just go straight into it. You know, they're here to watch your videos. Then just, hey, I'm Tina, you know, welcome back, whatever. And just go from there. That's kind of what I do. So
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you have just a minute, I want to go backstage before we joined the live. I kind of wanted to talk to you about something, if you don't mind, privately, if you have just an extra minute.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else? This has been a good live. We've been on here about an hour and a half. And
oh my goodness, has it been that long already? It didn't feel like that
long. It goes by fast when you're having fun, right? So I know my husband, we're going to go do our civic duty and vote at 4:00, and then go to Walmart.
Oh, fun.
It's going to be fun. It's a fun date night, right? That's what we do. But yeah. Well, everybody, I want to thank. Oh, you know what, Linda, you're fine. I'm glad that you made it in. You can go watch on the replay if you want. Anybody can go watch it. I know, Karen, right? See, even Karen said it only feels like 20 minutes.
It should give us a few more minutes. Our headphones are running out of batteries.
Okay. Well, we're going to get ready to hang up. So hang up. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the live as much as I did. And we will see you next week. Go watch my video. Be blessed, everybody. It was good to see you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.